Less than 24 hours to go until the Minnesota Golden Gophers and Iowa renew their rivalry on the football field. Tomorrow marks the 90th year since the creation of the Floyd of Rosedale trophy. The two teams have exchanged this trophy since 1935, but not very many people know the actual history behind it. So Danny Spiewak is here to tell you about it.
For 90 years, Minnesota and Iowa have competed for a trophy known as the Floyd of Rosedale.
I love the rivalry of that game.
Kenneth Foxworth played for the Gophers from 1976 to 1981.
First time I saw this big old pig, and I was like, man, this is huge. I didn't know what was going on.
But Foxworth didn't learn the truth behind Floyd of Rosedale until he graduated.
5 years after I finished playing football, I was stunned.
The story begins in the 1930s. Back then, the Gophers ruled the gridiron under Hall of Fame coach Bernie Bierman, whose teams won 5 national championships in 8 years prior to World War II.
It was the biggest story in town.
Dave Mona is a former Gopher radio analyst.
College football was a big deal. So you're talking back in the 1930s, and it was a different country we lived in.
In 1934, the undefeated Gophers traveled to Iowa City to face the Hawkeyes and their star halfback Ozzie Simmons, one of the few black stars in the Big Ten at that time.
Great football player.
In a blowout loss to the Gophers, Simmons left the game multiple times due to injury, with one Iowa newspaper describing his treatment as an outright assault.
But it's widely reported and believed throughout everywhere in Iowa that Minnesota ganged up on him and that there were roughing penalties against Minnesota. He was tackled out of bounds. He was piled on.
Minnesota denied singling out Simmons for his race. But 1 year later, when the two teams prepared to meet again in Iowa City in 1935, Iowa Governor Clyde Herring issued a warning
and says, we're not going to have a repeat of last year, and if the authorities won't take care of it, our fans will.
That's when Minnesota Governor Floyd B. Olson intervened.
He gets hold of the Iowa governor and said, hey, this looks bad.
To ease the tensions, the governors made a deal. The loser of the Minnesota-Iowa game would have to bring the winner a prize hog. In 1935, the Gophers won the first bet.
The governor from Iowa brought this big hog all the way to the state capitol in St. Paul.
They named the hog Floyd of Rosedale in honor of Governor Floyd Olson and Rosedale Farms, where the pig came from in Iowa. After that pig died, the two teams continued the tradition by trading a bronze replica of Floyd.
And it's been going on ever since.
But 90 years later, the story of Ozzie Simmons remains all too obscure.
Do you wish the school would acknowledge the Ozzie Simmons incident more?
I truly do. I really believe that, once you understand the history, then you understand why you're doing this. We need to be in a position of making sure that people know about Mr. Simmons,
so that his name can live on for the next generation. Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
I had no idea. Fascinating story. A better maybe path forward to honor Mr. Simmons. The Gophers will try to get that trophy tomorrow afternoon, but the odds are stacked against them. They have lost the game against Iowa 9 out of the last 10 times. We'll be right back.